Sharon's not here today, neither is Dr. Joseph.
She's not going to be here? Then you're conducting the school board meeting? Okay. Okay, we'll go ahead and get started. This will be the last meeting that we have for Budget and Finance Capital Needs Committee meeting. In this committee meeting tonight, we will sign off, approve our capital needs budget to present to the mayor and his staff. And so we'll take that vote in this committee and then on the board floor as well. I'll turn it over to Mr. Henson.
Looking at the agenda, I wasn't involved in putting the agenda together, but the first item is the Hope Park property on here.
That would be me. All right, I am ready to roll. I have approval from my two council representatives in my area. So I would like to move to surplus the portion of the Hope Park property that is not used for the high school project, to transfer that portion to Metro Parks, subject to the Parks Board approval.
Second.
Okay. Do we have any discussion on this? I think it's been discussed ad nauseum by now. So could I get a show of hands to approve the motion that Ms. Froh made? Unanimous approval. Thank you, everybody, for doing that. That puts that one to bed. And so we're talking about budget advocacy. Mr. Pinkston.
Yeah, no real substantive update for the board and board colleagues other than what we've discussed in retreat on Friday. But for anybody who is in the public who's been paying attention, the board is getting more and more serious, perhaps more so than it's ever been, about advocating for additional resources and driving home the fact that we are a chronically underfunded school system. It's not a problem that was created overnight, nor will it be solved overnight. But Dr. Singer-Gabella is working with us to help lead what's going to amount to a communications effort with Mr. Johnson, and we'll have more updates in the near future. But we are taking control of our own destiny for the first time in a long time, and I'm proud of that, and I'm proud of the collaboration that we've got and that we will have around it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Pinkston. Do we have any information on the MNPS Transportation Center? Is that RI been issued yet?
I'll ask Mr. Profit to come to the podium. And just to circle back for the Hope Park property, just for the board's information, we will include that as an item on the next board agenda for the full board to declare that property surplus to transfer to Metro Park. So that will need to be an agenda item on the first board meeting in February.
And we'll have the precise acreage and things like that to put into the record. Transportation Center.
Yes, sir.
We have, I've met with or talked to about 5 different developers so far. There's some interest. As each one has basically said, it depends on what the appraised value is of our site and those sort of things. That appraisal has been, we have it on order. We should know in about 2 weeks, 1.5 to 2 weeks, what that appraised value is. And I've also ordered a phase 1 environmental study, and that is underway as well. I have written a request for interest letter that we will hopefully put out Thursday, provided that Mr. Gossage approves the letter as it's written with our procurement department. And I'll be sending that to a list of about 10 different developers who we know have some interest in and experience in this type of arrangement. Beyond that, I'm also now in the background writing an actual RFP with the assumption that there will be enough interest to at least see what our requirements are for property or properties in the Davidson County area. So that's where we are right now, Ms. Shepard, and we'll know. I'm playing it, working along, pushing it along, trying to get it going.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions for Mr. Prophet? At maybe the next meeting, and we should have the appraised value by then.
We should.
We should.
Okay. I'll follow up and let you know after we leave here tonight, or sometime this week, for sure.
Appreciate the effort.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anything else?
It's encouraging. I think that's it. Oh, yes, ma'am.
I just want to say for the record that Mr. Pinkston and I both tossed out the idea about teacher housing and workforce housing and received pushback. And so I will say that I am a big believer in this project. I think that if we can pull it off, I think it'll be a good thing. I think it's an inspiring plan, but I also want to make sure everybody understands in the whole wide world that this does not replace advocating for teacher pay,
Right.
that is the priority here, that this is one of many, many things on the menu to attract and retain the best teachers in the country. And so I think it's an inspiring project, and I hope we can stay the course.
And I tend to agree with you, Ms. Bupa Walker. And I believe it was Mr. Pinkston who sent out the other community that has done this and what the housing looked like, and it was very attractive. I mean, I thought it was really nice. So I'm encouraged by it as well. Thank you, Mr. Prophet. Appreciate that. Do you want to talk about our capital improvement budget?
Sure, and I'll ask Mr. Prophet to correct me if anything I say is incorrect. You have in front of you, behind your Budget and Finance Committee agenda, a couple of documents. The first document, the one-pager, is reflective of the second document, which is multiple pages, year number 1 request, which is column H on the spreadsheet that you have. Column H, which is the first-year priority that we've been discussing now for the last several months as it relates to what the Board of Education would request, and at this point it's simply a request in capital funding once the mayor pursues a capital spending plan that is then presented to the Metro Council ultimately for approval. We don't know exactly what that timeline or time frame would look like. Again, not discounting the other years. We're required, if you remember, we're required to submit a 6-year capital improvement budget request annually to the Metro Planning Department by the end of January. And of course, this is the last meeting in January, and we have been discussing this for several months. And so not discounting the remaining years, but concentrating on year 1, since that is what we are actually requesting to be funded through the mayor's capital spending plan that ultimately would be approved by the Metro Council. You can see that the total is approximately $296 million. Don't think any of us are holding our breath that we're going to get $296 million in capital funding. That is the need as it relates to year 1. As a reminder, this past year we received capital funding of $60 million, which represented 17% of the total capital funding that went for the entire Metro government. The $60 million that we received was 17% of the total of capital funding for all of Metro government. And you can see the different school-specific projects at the top that totaled $226.7 million, and then the district-wide projects, which are mainly made up of deferred maintenance items, new school buses that are required to be replaced by state law once they reach 15 years of age, as well as all of our technology out in our schools for students and teachers to use, et cetera. So don't know if there are any questions since we've been discussing this again for a few months, but we're happy to try to answer any that you might have.
Any questions for Mr. Henson? I don't remember what the Westmead Elementary, what's that line for, number 11?
Line 11 on your multi-page document is for the design fees. You see in column C where it says design fees only. This is as we look toward the future, and happy for Ms. Frog to weigh in if she would like, but there has been a lot of discussion whether or not to renovate the existing Westmead Elementary, to build a new Westmead Elementary on the same site, or to build a new Westmead Elementary at another site. And so that decision has yet to be made. That's the reason for the shading on that particular row. I'm sorry, that's the reason that the design fees only are included in year 1 as that decision is made. And then we have the actual construction of the new Westmead Elementary on row 20 in year 2.
Okay. All right, thank you. Anybody else have any questions of Mr. Henson? Ms. Parker?
So the line 3, Cane Ridge Antioch Cluster Early Learning Center, this was to build a new early learning center to create capacity in other schools. I'm trying to remember what that was.
That's correct. Row 3, the Cane Ridge Antioch Cluster Early Learning Center, initially land, and then ultimately building a new early learning center, which would be in addition to the current Cambridge Early Learning Center, which is out in the Antioch Cane Ridge cluster. There is a lot of demand and a lot of need for additional pre-K classrooms in that part of the city. And we, as you know, most of our elementary schools in that area are full or overcrowded. And so what this would do would be able to help alleviate the overcrowding at some of those elementary schools without having to add additional classrooms or build a new school, by taking some of those pre-K classrooms from existing elementary schools in the Cane Ridge and Antioch clusters and putting them in this self-contained early learning center.
Anybody else? Okay.
Make a motion to approve the capital budget as presented.
A second?
Second.
Any discussion on that, on the motion? Okay, show of hands, please. Thank you. Unanimous vote.
So the next step, of course, would be at tonight's board meeting. It is on your agenda to be approved, so that we have a committee recommendation, and then the full board would approve it. We will then submit that to the Metro Planning Department as required, and then ultimately await for the mayor to issue a capital spending plan at some point in the future, and then at that point we would know what of the request is actually going to be proposed to be funded.
What's the timeline on his decision?
There is no required timeline by Metro Charter for the capital budget, unlike the operating budget. Some years it is run parallel with the operating budget. Some years it's run behind. This past year, I think it was in October when we received approval for the $60 million in the capital spending plan. There have been years when we've not received any capital funding. And so there's not a requirement for a timeline and not a requirement that there be capital funding. So, but again, many of the years it's run parallel with the operating budget, or just behind the operating budget.
So we could have actually started at 4:30 anyway. So we are done with the budget and finance meeting, and we will start our school board meeting tonight at 5.